Hey, welcome to the Kinda Sleepy Podcast. I'm your host, Knowledge, and who do I have to my left? And it ain't Miss EP. Who is this over here? She laughing. Can you speak into the mic, please?
Yeah, all right.
Put the mic to your mouth. Anyway, who I got to my right?
Not tonight, damn it. Not tonight, not both of y'all. No, hell no, not tonight, goddamn it.
And can you tell people who you are, please? We know who you
Bosslady.
are. Clearly, Bosslady wants some smoke.
All the smoke.
All right, now who do I have to my right?
Hey, my G, you already know who it is. It's your boy, Natty, Bad Tattoo Dreadlock, a.k.a. Tenaro Reed, owner, operator of Slaughterhouse Tattoos. Mr. Who? Helping you look better naked. Hey, in the building. What up, dude?
This should be a really interesting episode. I'm just telling y'all that now. This should be
It's smoke in the studio today.
This should be a really interesting episode. So let's jump right into it. First up, something is wrong with y'all today. Something is really wrong with y'all today. So
Don't say y'all.
downtown Minneapolis saw one of the greatest things that I've ever seen personally on social media. There was a protest going on in downtown Minneapolis, basically, protesting the shooting of an unarmed person in Minneapolis. And these folks got out there and they were exercising their right to assemble, their freedom of speech and all that. And this one woman, this one colonizer, decided it would be a good idea for her to run up in the face of one of the black women protesters and get loud with her and then grab that sign. Now, I'm going to ask you, boss lady, if somebody runs up on you and snatches something out your hand, what's your first reaction?
My very first, without even thinking.
Very first reaction.
I'm swinging.
And that's exactly what happened.
I don't even have to think about it.
Now, what happened? Now, I want you to guess what happened after this lady got punched in the face for snatching this woman's sign.
She didn't understand why she got hit. She didn't know what she had done to get hit.
I feel like she understood exactly why she got hit, but of course, when she
No.
When
I say understand, meaning she didn't understand why this black woman thought it was okay to hit her as a Caucasian woman. Okay. That's what I mean by she didn't understand.
Oh, okay. Well, she immediately went to the police and she started crying, saying, I didn't do anything. Well, you didn't do anything except snatch a sign out of a grown woman's hand in a place where that woman didn't even touch you.
Correct.
So, I mean, you put in that situation, Natty, how you gonna react?
Me personally. Come on, man. Me personally, because you already know, man. I'm all the way 110, 20, 30% militant, man. I don't disrespect you. You don't disrespect me. My personal space is my personal space. So therefore, look, hey, if I'm protesting peacefully, I'm not breaking the rules, quote unquote, of what you're doing. Look, stay over there.
Mind your business.
Or get your ass fucked up.
But that's how it happened.
No, I ain't mean to say that. Get your ass beat the fuck up. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, get beat the fuck up.
Well,
what's gonna happen.
I mean, hey, it happens. Speaking of people getting beat the fuck up, in Portland, Oregon, this weekend, there was the Patriot Prayer Rally, which was reminiscent of the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally last year. This group of militant, angry, white nationalists called the Proud Boys showed up in numbers. And these are guys that come to these protests dressed like, professional wrestlers and fake gladiators. They put on body armor and helmets, and they carry sticks and bats, and they carry shields. Some of them have created and fashioned their own shields made of wood or metal or whatever they fashioned them out of. And they consider themselves the defenders of these racist, nationalist, angry people. Now, there were some folks from Antifa that showed up, the anti-fascist folks. They showed up as counter-protesters. And it appears as though the police was pushing Antifa away, but letting the nationalist folks, get their protest on. That wasn't the only protest that went on this weekend. There was also a nationalist rally that went on in Washington, D.C. And it appears as though the Washington, D.C. transit system said, we're not going to support you evil people to your protest. And they shut down the transit system.
Oh.
At first, they played with the idea of having a separate train for the nationalists, but then, considering the fact that most of the motormen and train, conductors are black, they was like, nah, bro, we not letting this ride. I was just in D.C., and I fell in love with D.C. because I just love to see black people doing great stuff like that.
And I'm from D.C.
Yeah.
Think about it, man. With my Uncle Leroy, God bless his day. He was one of the individuals that worked on the transit system in the early 70s, 80s. You know what I mean? So for everybody to stand together and say, look, we're not going to rock that way, I dig it. I dig it. So, at the end of the day, it's a win for black unity.
And I think that's beautiful.
It's a win for black unity, man.
Bosslady, you got this video. Can you narrate what's going on right now?
Pornhub.
Oh, I need you to just finish watching it. I couldn't even put it into words. I needed you to tell me what was happening.
I see this man walking back and forth.
Just hold your horses.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That kind of takes us to our next topic. Those are white guys running up and down the aisle.
It's a victory lap.
Taking their laps around the church and swinging their blazers and stuff. Yeah, that's interesting. But that takes us to our next subject, which is Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, your attorney general, who was deemed too racist to be a judge. And Coretta Scott King even wrote a letter saying how racist he was. Donald Trump decided to make him attorney general, the highest law enforcement officer in the land. He has created what he calls a religious liberty task force.
So is that what he's doing right here when he somersault into the baptism pit, the water?
Can we watch that off?
Yeah, I know. I just need answers because I didn't understand. I didn't know what happened.
So Jeff Sessions created this religious liberty task force because he said the goal is to protect religious groups from persecution. Now, I'm pretty sure the only people that's really being persecuted like that in this country are Muslims. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong. It's a church on every corner. We in the South. It's a church on every corner.
Right.
Christianity is the default religion in this country. Christianity is some version of it, whether it be Catholicism or something like that. You got Judaism, which is accepted in this country. I don't see people really persecuting Jewish folks on a high level. The only people I really see getting persecuted are Muslims and folks who are quote-unquote Muslim-looking. Because I know at some point they were beating up people who were in other Middle Eastern religions. For example, Sikhism, the Sheiks, they wear turbans and are typically Middle Eastern or from Asia. And they were getting beat up because people thought they were Muslim. So this is really strange, especially coming from Jefferson Beauregard Sessions. I'm pretty sure this is a legal way to make, religious persecution happen in this country. That's just how I see it.
But that's how it's built, though.
Yeah, the thing is, the system works how it's supposed to. I stopped saying that the system failed us because the system was never created for us. Yeah. So it's working how it's supposed to. And the thing is, I don't want to spend too much time on this. I just wanted to inform people out there that there's this movement going on at the highest levels of government to restrict certain people's right to express their religions and pray to God the way they feel like they should be able to pray to God. Speaking of God. Y'all got to get y'all pastors, man.
Oh, excuse me. He used to be your pastor.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
So what we're talking about is those black pastors, the 19 black pastors and clergy persons that decided to meet with Donald Trump. And they claimed they was talking about prison reform. Now, I got a couple problems with this. Because the video that we saw basically showed Donald Trump very, very uncomfortable up first and making a statement. Which I would think that Donald Trump is uncomfortable around large groups of black people anyway.
Correct.
Considering his views. I mean, in the past, he's taken pictures with rappers and athletes and entertainers and stuff like that. But I would consider where his trajectory has gone since then, he would be very uncomfortable around large groups of black people. So he made this statement, and his body language said he was uncomfortable. And then these 19 pastors, ministers, bishops, all of them, went around the room just praising Donald Trump. One of them said that he thought that Trump would end up being the most pro-black president ever. The guy that I used to go to his church, who I consider, to a certain extent my pastor, Pastor Van Moody, said he thanked Donald Trump for having a heart for compassion for all people, a heart of compassion for all people, which really just rubbed me all the way the wrong way. And that's kind of the way it went around the room. So a lot of people were stunned and hurt by it because they felt like those pastors sat up there and lied. Now, I've been going back and forth on Facebook with a couple of people who think it's perfectly okay. I didn't have a problem with them going. I didn't have a problem with them praying for Donald Trump because that's their job. They're supposed to pray for, people, whether they be good, bad, evil, righteous, whatever. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to be there. What I had a problem with is these quote-unquote clergy persons who preachers in the black community have historically had a very prominent position and have had a lot of influence on our communities. And I had a real problem with them going up there knowing that, having that influence, and then sitting around that table being a photo opportunity for Donald Trump to make him look like he's not a racist when we all know he is. That was my biggest problem. Some people are making excuses for him, copping pleas for these preachers. I'm not copping a plea for them. One of them, I know some of the people. I know people personally who are making these. I'm gonna call them excuses because that's what they are, making excuses for these guys going up there, and they have their own viewpoint. One of them was like, Donald Trump responds to brown nose, and so maybe they felt like they had to brown nose a little bit to get some progress. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. I had a problem with that thought process. I have a problem with people excusing their religious leaders from lying when every single religion in the world says, hey, lying is bad.
Correct.
Given this, I said this on Facebook, I'm going to say it here. Black people defend they pastor more than they defend Jesus.
Ooh.
What?
What you talking about? Look, he could be in the middle of the aisle, fucking the usher board. Not just one usher, but the whole usher board.
just one by one going down the line, huh? You just had to take it down there.
You might want to turn my mic off.
You just took that one all the way there.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, literally, though, that could be happening, and then they'll find a way to excuse it. But
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. What was you saying? You were saying something.
I mean, because my thing is this right here, G. You can have an individual. I mean, like LeBron said before. He's been using sports to divide us,
right?
And you can have an individual that doesn't play for your team, that you wasn't raised in, or the city you was raised in, or whatever the situation may be, but everybody would crucify that individual. Well, you have the person who is the head of our country, the head of our country, who can make reckless thoughts, make reckless comments about whatever the situation may be, and nobody says nothing, and everybody give him a scapegoat.
Right. We look for a pass. We give them a pass.
And the thing about it, man, we have a reality TV star as our president right now. And that's what the situation is basically boiled down to, because you know what? He's chasing fame. He's chasing money. Our country is chasing what? Fame and chasing money.
Right.
So when do we say, look, we're gonna go ahead and put some building blocks together to where the fame, the money is not what we want anymore. We want to have a whole situation to where, look, our country is respected from the bottom to the top. And we're not going to get it when we have Flaming Hot Cheeto.
Toupee fiasco? Toupee fiasco. And my thing is, I don't so let's stay on this topic for a second. So, and I don't really want to get into, because people always be like, well, Christianity is the white man's religion. Blah, blah. I don't really get into that because I don't like to get to the historical aspect of the fact that Christianity was in Africa 800 years before slavery started. I don't like to go into that because that immediately breaks it down. People use the Bible and use religion to justify all manner of foolishness, right? And slavery was one of those things. But now they're using it to justify the foolishness of not calling people to task and not holding folks accountable. Right. They say, it's funny how everybody can say, judge not lest ye be judged, but nobody talked about when Paul said you should judge the world righteously and test it up against the word of Scripture. Nobody talks about that part because the thing is, nobody wants to judge folks because they feel like, well, my sin is ugly. Yeah. I can't tell them about their sin.
Bring my shit to the light.
Well, here's my thing about that. If I know I messed up, that don't mean I can't tell you messed up.
Right.
I'm trying to get it right. You trying to get it right. Now, you said something about playing for a team.
Let's fix our shit.
Right. You said something about playing for a team that I want to touch on right quick. So, y'all remember the last NBA Finals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember how mad LeBron was at J.R. Smith for getting that rebound and running the
wrong direction.
Not calling timeout, none of that. Thinking they had the lead, not knowing what the score was, not having the situational awareness to understand what was going on in that moment.
Right here.
These 19 preachers was J.R. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you why. So your church may have a prison outreach ministry. You know, you go preach to the brothers in prison. You might send them letters. You might even take care of some of their families on the outside, set them up with a job when they come home. That's all well and good. The thing is, what qualifies you as a black pastor to go speak on prison reform when you have all these organizations out here, people who live their lives every single day that are literally in Washington, D.C., whose area of expertise is prison reform?
Right.
Why do you get that? Now, think about it. If Donald Trump wanted to call me in for a day of prayer, that's one thing. You call me in to talk about prison reform. Some ain't adding up. So when I go there, I'm not going to sit here and kiss the ring. I'm going to sit here and tell you about the criminal justice system and how it disproportionately affects the people that look like me and the people that sit in my pews every single day as the pastor of a black church.
Right.
I'm just saying.
And
that's what I would have done. And I think okay, so now here's another thing. We talk about situational awareness. I want to break this one down too. So if you look at the names on that list, you only have one Hispanic preacher there. But he falls into line with the three things that I noticed about these folks. They either had a really big name, like Marvin Winans and Dr. King's niece, something like that. They were in a city that was known as a battleground for civil rights, Birmingham, Montgomery, Greenville, South Carolina. Or, and this is one thing, they were in a city that's either battling gentrification on a whole other level or has recently dealt with some very big racial strife. So these names were picked because they would make the greatest impact without giving the greatest resistance. He didn't get Vashti McKenzie in there. He didn't get T.D. Jakes in there.
you know,
He didn't get Cornel West in there.
It's the next political view plot.
Right.
Basically what it is.
They wanted he wanted, so the next time somebody called him racist, he'd be like, look at my African American. Look at my black preachers.
I got black
here.
friends.
Yeah. Look at all these Negro clergymen around me. That's what it was. It was a hustle. They got hustled. They literally got put on the Political Apprentice.
And they basically bit for the limelight.
Oh yeah.
For the limelight, man. That's basically what it is.
So the question is, let me ask you a question. Do you think they should have even went?
Man, me personally, if Meek
can turn it down.
If Meek Mills, a kid from Philly, can turn down an invitation to talk about prison reform when he's been in prison and been on probation for 10 years plus, if he can say, nah, I'm not going to rap with you, G, because we don't have anything to rap about, why are these clergymen doing the same thing?
That part.
Come on, man.
What about you? Would you have gone? Oh, Bosslady.
I'm straddling the fence here.
Okay. And I can understand that.
Personal beliefs. No.
Okay.
But if they truly were trying to do something, accomplish something, then I can understand and say, okay. But the way that they did it did not show that they were trying to accomplish what they said they were.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So if you show up with a pure heart and you walk out having been used for evil, see you in hell. That's essentially what happened.
I mean, and the thing about it, I mean, people will use your face.
Oh, yeah.
They would use
your name.
Yeah, your face, your name. They would use any momentum that you have to go ahead and bend whatever following you have to, you know what I mean?
To their will.
Yeah, to succumb what they have going on. I mean, to their agenda. And that's what I looked at it as. Because at the end of the day, me personally, if, let's say for instance, you're a vegan. Let's say you're a vegan.
Okay.
Now, I say, hey, I have this potato salad recipe right here. Look, it has this much protein, it has this, and this, yada, yada, boom, boom, boom. I can tell you everything it has beneficial, and you tell me, look, I'm not gonna, I don't eat that. But I say, look, I'm gonna let everybody know about your recipe. If you tell it why, I tell, and they just jump on the whole platform of what people think and what people gonna see and what people gonna hear.
That perception becomes their reality.
And my thing is this right here, man. Look, I'd rather people not hear my story,
right,
before I sell it to the wrong person, before I tell it to the wrong person. That's basically what it boils down to.
And I feel like that's what happened. They watch for the hook, man. Watch for the hook.
112.
That's what happened. Watch for the hook.
112. Word.
So after that, the statement was asked. Somebody asked LeBron James, if he was sitting across from Trump, how would he do? He said, "I wouldn't be sitting across from him."
I ain't got no rap.
Y'all president got mad and tweeted out that Don Lemon made LeBron look really smart, which was really hard to do. I'm gonna need Tupe Fiasco to stop talking about people's intelligence.
First of all, if you're gonna be the president of the United States,
why are you tweeting?
Number
that
one,
part.
But before you call somebody dumb, I'm gonna need you to know whether Puerto Rico has another president or not. I'm gonna need you to know that as the president of the United States.
I'm gonna need you to know it's not 2 Corinthians but 2 Corinthians.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna need you to know the last name of Lockheed Martin CEO. Stop calling her Lockheed.
She looked at him like if looks a kill, he'd have been dead on that floor.
Easily.
She's looking at him like you have got to be the most ignorant.
You have got to know that the F-35S bomber is not actually
invisible.
He thought it was invincible.
Listen. You can't see him. You better not be. Better not be able to see him. How much we spent on him. I was like, what?
Are you drunk?
Nigga, it's a whole live plane.
Like for real. It's made of metal. It makes noise. Wait. But no, it's crazy, man. Like and here's what's messed up about it. So he said he likes MJ. So as you guys know by now, LeBron James has opened up a school in Akron, Ohio, his hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I like the way he did it. He did it as a public school and not a charter school.
Right.
The kids are getting free uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting bicycles and helmets.
Mm-hmm.
If you live within 2 miles of the school, you get transportation.
Right.
There's going to be a food bank.
Helping the parents get jobs.
Yep, helping them get jobs.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a food bank there for people whose families don't have much to eat. And so they can come to the school and get something, some goods and stuff like that to eat.
Breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
With the kids. Right.
Yeah. And so, it's a food bank. I mean, he's doing a really good thing. And so Donald Trump just had to come in and just try to crap on him. But MJ, everybody gives MJ flack. Everybody gives Michael Jordan a lot of flack. And they like, Michael Jordan was investing in private prisons. No, that was a white dude.
That was a white dude,
Michael Jordan.
Right.
Mm-hmm. There's a quote attributed to him asking him why he doesn't get political. And they said that he said, well, Republicans buy shoes too. He never said that. And so, he gets a lot of flack, but people don't know that Tinker Hatfield, the guy who designed Jordans, those Jordans that everybody loves to wear. I just bought the 13s yesterday. They came out yesterday. The He Got Games, the Jakes. I got them.
I got the Starbearers.
I was trying to see which one she had on her feet.
So, Tinker Hatfield designed all these sneaks. Those Jordan 3s that Justin Timberlake had on the Super Bowl with the Nike swoosh on the side, he designed those. He wouldn't have had that job if it not been for Jordan. Jordan got a lot of black executives hired at Nike and a lot of these other places because of what he did. He just did it very quietly. Mm-hmm. He just opened up a medical clinic here in Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken. I think he just did that this week. And so when they asked MJ about it, he sent a text to the Associated Press and says, I think LJ is doing great things in the community, basically. And he's a fan.
Right.
Saying he's a fan of LeBron. And then Melania Trump, the president's own wife, sent an official statement out commending LeBron James for opening up the school. How does it feel to be on the wrong side of everybody?
But when you an ass, you always going to end up on the back end. It's that simple.
Yeah,
man.
that's
that
real.
Simple, man.
That was some of that down home country wisdom right there, though.
I mean, it's that
I like
simple.
that.
I mean, it's that simple.
I use that one.
Like number one.
I ain't heard that one. I'm from Alabama. I ain't heard that one. I like that one.
Stupid.
Shoot,
I
when
mean,
you ass, you gonna always end up on the back
You
end.
end up on the back end.
I like that.
Especially, I mean, if your significant other, your first lady, but she's not mine. I don't know what that's.
Oh, side note, my president had a birthday this week. He turned 57.
You feel me?
Correct.
Happy birthday, President Obama.
I see him with a purple label. polo on, shimmying. You know what I mean? Living his best life.
Oh yeah, he chilling.
Ain't going
Man.
back and forth with you niggas. I'm living my best life. I'm telling you. Yo, he really is.
Yeah, really.
He is enjoying
Did
life.
y'all see them pictures of him and Michelle at the On the Run tour?
You feel me?
Bruh, I was like, I gotta get some tickets to this shit.
Look.
Trying to be like Obama.
Got two.
Him and
Columbia.
Biden was in
Really?
some little shop the other day.
was eating
a
lunch.
little bakery.
It was. I'm gonna tell you, they got the cutest bromance ever. Though,
Oh yeah,
right?
no, I agree. Hey, Biden like he be wanting to. Hey, you got a problem, Obama? What?
What?
That's Barack Shooter right there.
Yeah.
No, that's me. I put my application in on Career Builder. I'm like, I'm the official Barack shooter, hitter, slasher, stabber, whatever.
Say something. I'm just waiting on you to say
I'm
something.
just
Say
there.
something.
I'm there.
Say something. Nah, that's crazy. That's wild.
Can you stop looking at the door like that?
All right.
So he was on the wrong end of all that stuff. It was being crazy. But you know, we talked about these preachers not having the guts to stand up. We talked about LeBron having the guts to stand up and speak his truth and live his truth and support people. I got to give some love to Randy Moss for what he just did
Yeah.
at his Hall of Fame induction. You know, he showed up with that tie on with, you know, the victims of police brutality and killings, Tamir Rice, Kamani Gurley, all these folks, man. Freddie Gray. You know, he had all their names on his tie. And as he was, you know, explaining it, he had Ray Lewis sitting next to him, you know, the all-time Make America Great Again linebacker, sitting next to him as he was getting inducted. And if you look at the video, as Randy Moss is speaking, Ray Lewis is like his brain went into reset mode. Like, it's like somebody pulled the cartridge out of his back. You know what I'm saying? You know how your TV would freeze when you was playing Nintendo, you put a cartridge out? That's what Ray Lewis looked like. Right. No, that's what Ray Lewis looked like.
Stupid.
That's exactly. He looked like he froze. Like you know how they be talking about all these folks clones and stuff like that? Like, he looked like his programming had shut down and he had the blue screen of death on his face. Like, that's what Ray Lewis looked like.
I mean, in all honesty, man, like when Ray Lewis got off on that murder charge in 2002, I feel like they had his nuts in the motherfucking ringer since then.
Correct. He's definitely afraid
told him
of ever being in a situation
know
like
you
that
owe
again.
us.
Hey, you want to be OJ?
He's definitely
Do you want to
afraid.
be OJ, nigga?
Here's my thing though, and I pray that this doesn't happen. But every time I look at Ray Lewis, I know that right beneath the surface is that same dude from 2000. Literally right beneath the
It was
surface.
crazy. I
We're
was
gonna hit the
at that
teacup.
club the night that it happened.
Oh, word.
I was
Yeah.
there.
Word.
Yeah.
That's
it was crazy.
We're going to hit the teacup. That nigga in a sunken place.
I just want to go up to him and flash a light in his eyes.
He's afraid. He's afraid.
And the thing is, I can't blame him. But at the same time, you got to draw a line somewhere.
But nobody want to be OJ.
Well, OJ don't want to be OJ right now. OJ did a lot of that shit too.
But OJ ain't black. He just OJ.
I'm not black. I'm OJ.
Okay.
Okay.
No, they reminded his ass he was black.
Yeah. I'm sorry. He went to jail for stealing his own stuff.
Own shit.
That's just like
Let me
getting
get my
fired
shoe.
on your off day for stealing boxes.
Let me give a shoot.
OJ is Craig.
Yeah.
OJ is Craig.
Yeah. But he knew. They wanted to get him so bad they would get him on anything they could. He could have stole a pack of gum.
And he would have did 10 years for that gun.
Right. But then after you do this and you get away with all of the stuff you did and you get away, you go from getting away with murder to being involved with X pills to I asked him about it.
Who he thought he was?
I
Sam
don't know, but I asked him, why'd you do that?
He was trying to make some extra money, man. They had took all his money. Ron Goldman and stole all his money from them lawsuits. So took all his money. So, you know, we staying with the football theme. I'm boycotting the NFL. I am not watching a game. I am going to purchase a secondhand Jamarcus Russell jersey to keep my promise that I made last week. Because I am a Jamarcus Russell fan. I did apologize to him on the show this last week for giving him so much crap when I was on my radio show back in the day. But I'm not giving the NFL any of my direct money. I do not have Sunday ticket. I will not be buying a ticket for Sundays. If I am given a ticket, I will probably give it away because I don't want to, go to the concession stand and spend no money that may go to that NFL owner. Not watching them on TV. If I'm at Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that, which I do tend to go to Buffalo Wild Wings from time to time, especially when it gets cold.
I like B-Dubs.
I like B-Dubs. I like the atmosphere. I just got what you said. Not messing with you. So, if the game is on, like literally, like last season when the games were on, I was looking down on my laptop. Like I take my laptop now to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I write or I do some work or something like that. I don't pay it any attention. I would literally be at the bar doing my homework. I kid you not. I'll be at the bar, noise all around, having a drink, doing my homework right there.
It's tough for me.
Well, I know you love the sport. What?
Look at my face.
What?
Look at my face.
What?
Look at my face.
I'm looking at you.
NFL, we do not support that shit. You know what NFL stand for?
Not for long.
Niggas for life. That's what the fuck they want to keep us, niggas for life. We are not.
So what? So I know that you've played.
It's
you've
tough
coached.
for me.
You know a lot of the athletes. You know a lot of the players.
Outside of knowing the players,
you've loved the game for a while.
Sport itself is my passion, and it's what I love.
Now, see, for me, it's not. I guess it's not hard for me because I didn't grow up in an NFL city.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Birmingham. We had the Crimson Tide, and the Crimson Tide. I mean, for the past couple of years, the Crimson Tide has been more than enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, we do football college football year round in Alabama.
Right.
Because as soon as the season ends, it's recruiting season.
I feel you.
Then we do spring practices, and so I still watch college ball, but I just can't watch the NFL. I can't.
Well, I'll watch the game. I'm with you though. I don't really, as far as spending my money for someone to make money off of it. I don't have to do that, but I still watch the sport.
So, do you watch it at home?
Most time.
And
most of the time, if I go to a game, someone has given me a ticket. I didn't buy the ticket.
Right.
So
like the thing is, those ratings that come in from you watching.
Yeah, pros and cons.
Yeah.
Pros and cons.
It's just that I just can't in good conscience watch pro football anymore. I can't, especially after this last thing with Dak Prescott and then Ezekiel Elliott coming right behind him. These two, boy, that's Amos and Andy right there.
Oh,
boy.
these two goddamn blackface crews. These two
That's
blackface.
our team right there, boys.
So, okay.
How you be a cowboy?
So let me ask you a question, Chris. So for y'all that don't know, Chris is in the studio. We got somebody else in the studio.
Brick. In our club, she's Brick.
She's Brick. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Brick.
I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, so we're gonna ask you. I just want to ask you one quick. How did that make? Because I don't know any Cowboy fans that are local.
I know a lot.
Well, I don't think I know any Cowboy fans. So you're here. How did seeing that make you feel? Speak to the mic. Come on. Just there you go. Speak right there to the mic. There you go.
You gotta move.
Well, I appreciate you.
I got you.
I can't hear you.
This
Just tell me how that made you feel hearing Jerry Jones say that, hearing Dak Prescott say what he had to say, and Ezekiel Elliott coming back, doubling down.
I was gonna stand up for you, boss. You know what?
Well,
boss?
I mean, I've always caught shit for being a Cowboys fan.
Well, yeah. I mean, because y'all worse than Bama fans.
But the
Put the
political
headphones on.
side of
Don't
it,
heat back.
I feel like Bosslady. Like, I don't really get into the politics of it. I mean, they gonna make their money regardless if I'm watching or not.
They gonna make their money regardless.
Yeah, they gonna make their money
We make
regardless.
them their money. Who the players are?
Hey, but this is what they trained to do. Like, they knew from a young age they wanted to be in the NFL. They didn't choose to go play for the Cowboys.
Here's my thing. Well, they did choose to make them statements, though.
They did.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing. And so, I mean, okay, so the rookies, those first couple year players, I give them a little bit of a pass, because you're fresh in the league, you're fresh making that money. You're trying to get yourself out of debt. You're possibly trying to get your family out of debt.
And this is something that you have strived for
your
whole life.
But some of those vets, I feel like if with veteran leadership, like guys like Malcolm Jenkins, I got to give him a lot of love. I feel like if guys just said, "Hey, F you,"
right,
I'm gonna kneel if I feel like it.
Correct. Now that part I do agree with. Like you wouldn't force me to do it. You wouldn't force me to. If you feel like you're gonna force me to do it and you try to put it in my contract, you're gonna get rid of me. Okay, fine, whatever. You're not gonna force me to do it. But
here's the craziest thing about it. Craziest thing about it is the same thing that makes these folks cheer for these athletes on Sunday. These big, black, aggressive, violent acting Negroes are the same things that they call into question whenever a black person is killed.
Correct.
By police.
But my thing is, who told these people to enforce this? First of all, that's not what the anthem was made for. Who said that it should be enforced at these sporting events?
Well, it
wasn't years ago.
Like the 90s?
Correct. If you remember, if you watched football back then, the players stayed in the locker room until after all of that was over in the first place.
They get paid now to play that anthem.
Well, yeah.
Right.
It's purchased patriotism.
Right. But even if you're doing that, you can't. Okay, fine. You want to play it? Again, let all teams give them the option. Either you can stay your ass in there, or if you come out in there, you can just pay a fine, whatever. However, whatever. But it's really
Here's my
retarded.
thing. You make your money on the backs of large black men that you pay to violently hit folks, that you pay to be aggressive, that you pay to look, act, and be a certain way. But you don't understand why they would be hurt and feel some type of way if they see somebody that looks like them bleeding and dying and broken in the middle of the street because a police officer saw them as a threat. Like, that's the part I don't understand. Like, if I go to work tomorrow and I'm upset, my boss is going to be like, why are you upset? And if I tell him I'm upset by something that, affects somebody that looks like me or somebody that is like me, he's going to be like, okay, I get it. I completely understand. And that's where we're going to go from. But these guys are like, hey, I'm upset about these folks getting killed and beaten and brutalized that look like me. And the owners are like, I don't pay you to think.
Yeah, it's okay.
I pay you to be exactly what makes those folks feel threatened enough to shoot you.
Stand up, salute, and do what you need to do and get on it. NFL, nigga for life. Nigga for life.
So keeping with that, where I was going with is where we was going with this was Madden 19.
Oh.
The new Madden that drops soon on Madden Day.
Shout out.
So at first there was a song on there that shouted out Colin Kaepernick.
By Big Sean.
By Big Sean, the Big Sean song. Shout out Colin Kaepernick. And the pre-release version, people was listening and noticed that Colin Kaepernick's name was blanked out. They had censored his name out of the song. And immediately it caused a pretty big uproar. And I guess they released a new version, an updated version, with his name actually in there. So, I mean, this is a full court press. There's no way in good conscience at this point anybody can look at this and say that Colin Kaepernick has not been blackballed.
Man, blackballed all the way
Definitely.
to
Definitely.
Liz. Look, and he light skinned.
Oh, God.
Blackballed to the foot. What?
Mama white?
He was adopted. He was adopted by a white family.
And my thing
No, but
is,
his biological.
Oh, I didn't know if he was.
and my thing is this right here. If you look at the situation, and even when Big Sean, he went publicly, and he was like, look, number one, when I laid this verse and I laid this song, this is what I said. This was not any action upon me that EA Sports did.
Right.
And he retracted his whole verse. He was like, look, I don't even want to be a part of this shit right here. And that's when EA Sports came back like, we made a mistake.
Right. Because the thing is, they knew they had messed that up. They completely knew they had messed that up. Yeah. So so one of the reasons that Colin Kaepernick even started this protest was because of the disproportionate number of black and brown people who were getting killed and beaten by police. There's one that happened in Louisiana. His name is Armando Frank. Avoyelles Parish sheriffs choked him to death. Mm-hmm. And they just released the video. And they declined to file charges on these guys. They came up behind him and put him in a rear naked choke. They went to him and said that he had a warrant for his arrest. And he said, well, where's the warrant? They was like, well, we don't have it with us. He said, well, until you show me a warrant, I'm not coming off my tractor.
Right.
They said, well, you'll see it when you get to the station. And he was like, well, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. And so they tried to snatch him off the tractor. And the guy slipped and tased himself, I think, or tased somebody else. And then another sheriff came up behind him and choked him. Let me get this right. So they arrested him off his tractor, and you know, he was demanding they provide him a copy of the warrant. And somebody comes behind him on the tractor. They actually get on the tractor and apply a rear naked choke to him. And when he goes down, he tells them that he can't breathe, essentially. You know, they said he's dead waiting. No, he was already unconscious. One of the guys says where the head goes, the body has to follow. And they carry him to the car, put him on the curb. He's laying down. Another sheriff deputy shows up and says, hey, this guy's dead. And so they declined to file charges on them, even though that chokehold has often been used as a last resort thing. Mm-hmm. It's going back to the 90s where, you know, these officers are using these chokeholds because the thing is, and they're killing folks.
It's not even
if that's your first option, my thing is,
that's not even their first option anymore, man.
Well, I think a lot of times the gun is.
Their first option is that hammer. And the thing about it, they take it to a point to like, okay, well, look, I can't shoot you, so guess what?
I'm going to tase you. I'm going to tase you, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to choke you.
And, you know.
And my thing is, like, so, and then there are people like, well, if he just got out the track, he would have survived. I'm like, if they had de-escalated the situation and came with a warrant, he would have survived.
Right. That's the only thing he asked for.
And nobody, this thing is, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, I don't dislike police. I don't hate police.
Okay.
No.
I just want them to be held accountable for some of the fucked up stuff that they do.
Look, the same way any individual is.
That's it. Like, here's the thing. If you are tasked with holding me accountable for something that I may do wrong, you need to come correct.
Right.
Point blank, period.
Right.
Like, if you're going to tell me I'm fucked up, don't come at me fucked up.
And we cool.
We all veterans here.
Yeah.
So if somebody had come to you and told you your uniform was jacked up and they wearing a PT top and some some ACU bottoms with some flip flops.
Don't look like that. You that was BDUs was before your time.
So if they coming at you with a jacked up uniform and trying to tell you, hey, you know, you got some strings hanging off your pants or your boots ain't bloused right, you gonna look at them like they crazy. Like man, if you don't get your ass out my face.
This ain't no wall locking inspection. Get your ass on.
But the police can come at you all kinds of sideways to hold you accountable for something, and nobody holds them accountable.
No standards.
And that's a problem.
No standards.
It is.
That's way too problematic for me.
And I'm gonna tell you, bro. It's like it puts a sense of fear into individuals that know, like me, you, and you know what I mean, and everybody else at the round table. It puts a sense of fear, like, because at the end of the day, we're not those individuals gonna sit here and say, okay, all right, this was gonna happen. We're gonna already be progressive in what might happen.
We gonna think about, you know, what the possibilities are.
And
I'm gonna tell y'all today, 3 years ago today, I was living here, and you talk about that fear, and I'll tell you, I was scared for my life 3 years ago to today when I saw those blue lights behind me.
Yo, anytime I see him,
I called somebody and I just had him. I said, please just be quiet, put the phone on mute. I'm gonna have you on speaker just in case anything happens.
right?
And dude walked into my car and he was like, I smell something. Oh, sir.
No, you don't.
You know good and damn well you don't smell nothing in this truck.
That motherfucker told me.
I ain't never smoked in this truck.
I was at
I ain't even been
KNWLDG.
around no smoke. I don't want no smoke. Sir, if you don't get your ass. And the thing is, what I wanted to say about Heart of Hearts was, call the dogs in. Call them.
Yeah, that's a 2-hour wait.
Yeah, but then I didn't. And my thing is, I had my concealed carry on me.
Listen.
I had my. And okay, so here's the thing. Technically, by law in this state, you're supposed to tell them you have a concealed carry license and a weapon. You know how many of us don't do that because we're afraid that it'll
I'm
make
not
them
gonna
afraid.
tell
The
you
last
shit.
time, last time I was pulled over, when the cop came up to the window, I had both of my hands hanging out the window. And he asked me, why And I told him, I said, because I have a concealed license and I have a gun in here, and I wanted you to not look like I'm reaching for it. You can come in the car and get it. I just needed you to know. I just wanted to make it home.
I tell that motherfucker.
Wrong or right?
I'd rather tell that motherfucker I got a key in the car. Pull me out the car. You found a gun. You ain't find no key.
Be like, do you have dope, guns, or drugs in the car?
All that shit.
I could have all three. I'm gonna tell you, I got dope in the car. No, they can't ask you. You got alcohol, dope, or guns in the car. I mean, I would rather tell you I got alcohol in the car and dope in the car. If I tell you I got a gun, man, I can make it home with alcohol and dope.
They reaching.
I can't make it home with a gun.
That's why I'm telling you, my hands were hanging out the window.
I'll tell you what I do.
I
will put it in, I will put it in the glove compartment and lock the glove compartment. And I always put I have my insurance on my phone already up, and I have my driver's license sitting on the dash, and I keep my hands on the wheel. So they see me do this. This is it. They just see all that right there.
I'm telling you, I told him, you can come over here and get everything you need out my glove compartment. I'm not moving my hands. And it was the middle of the night. And I had been drinking.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So,
oh, my bad.
Let's talk about some of the ways that police kind of get folks caught up.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, Chicago PD. We talked about this before we got on the air. Chicago PD. They pull a 18-wheeler into the hood. In the hood, unlocked, and they put a bunch of Nike boxes in the back.
Let's see, nigga.
Now, check this out. So,
you hear me?
So my thing is, you're enticing. You're enticing poor people. These folks are. That is so much wrong with this to me. I get it.
That's entrapment like a motherfucker. Man.
Well, I get it. You say, had they should have known it was a setup. And I agree.
Yes.
I agree to it.
A whole 18-wheeler in the hood, unlocked, left unattended. Nigga, everybody done seen at least one episode of Bait Car. Fuck out of here. No, you should have known better.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to say this right here. You can say they should have known it was a setup. Mm-hmm. You can say that. But how many times we've been tricked into a toxic relationship?
Ain't nobody talking about no.
I'm just saying.
Let's go back to it.
You should have known.
All right, so check this out.
That nigga wasn't shit.
So check
yes, you should have.
So check this out. So we're looking at this situation where they pull into this poor neighborhood where folks are scratching and surviving just like good times.
Entrapment, bro.
Struggling to eat, struggling to get these basic necessities, struggling to even pay for some of these tennis shoes.
Good time.
And the thing is, the reality of it is, Proverbs 6:30 says that men do not despise the thief if he steals to satisfy his hunger. And so the thing is, you put something in these folks' neighborhood, because shoes, to a certain extent, are a necessity. You put something out there that you know is going to entice these kids by a basketball court. But these kids ain't got no money. They ain't got nothing but a dream and a hoop.
I agree with both sides. I understand what you're saying.
Now here's what pisses me off about it. Because we watched this video maybe a little over a year ago, where this guy said that they was dropping just boxes of guns in the hood. Or where they talked about how they put up this train in the middle of the hood, I think near Chicago, and left it unlocked and it was full of guns. Mm-hmm. And stuff like this is happening. And I get it. Like, the thing is, I understand why these folks would be curious enough to look, why these folks would be curious enough to take something for a come up, because you're hungry. You see that. It's an opportunity. It's a petty crime. I'm not mad at them. But my thing is, they don't do this in those rich neighborhoods where those kids are just greedy and would do the same thing.
Correct.
They don't pull up outside the mall or outside of Starbucks and do stuff like this. They target those poor people. You target those poor black and brown people because they are more inclined to do that because they're more inclined to need that.
And disenfranchising.
Yeah. As soon as they get that charge, they can't vote.
They
can't push for some of the things. They can't do. They are locked out of access to a lot of things.
Well, if it ends up being a felony, gotta be a felony.
Man, poor black kids don't get the benefit of probation sometimes.
None.
And we know it. We see it. It's sick.
And
this is why.
First of all, it's enough crime going on that you don't even have to do that. Whether it's in a poor neighborhood or a rich neighborhood. There's
Yeah.
enough going on that you shouldn't have to do that in the first place.
Why
to
do you
anyone.
have time to do that bullshit?
To anyone.
But we over policing everything that we do.
Oh yeah,
You
absolutely.
over policing things that you don't have to, and not policing things that you should enough.
Right. That's why they have a backlog of 5,000, 6,000 rape kits.
Yeah, like you just because you don't got nothing else to do.
Right. Oh, you surely couldn't put no resources toward that shit, right? Because it's just rape.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just
rape.
Just rape. But you want to get this guy for a possession charge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sick. And I say that to say this. This is why I don't deal with I don't discuss or debate my frustration with America with certain types of folks, because they get entertained by our pain. They are entertained by our outrage. They are entertained by our frustration. The only reason you would do something like this is partially for entertainment. Like, what real dent are you putting in crime by catching kids on a petty theft charge?
By enticing.
Easy money too.
Yeah.
Easy money.
Yeah, it's a money
for them to
grab.
pay the court system.
Yeah, it's a money grab.
That's all. It's something
They do it for
simple.
entertainment.
It's something simple, and it's
bullshit.
easy money.
Pisses me off. And what pisses me off is the lack of accountability that we talked about earlier. So these two fresh New Orleans Police Department officers beat up a veteran, a Latino veteran. They were asking him, was he American? And, you know, I guess he didn't answer to their satisfaction. And they gave that man a pumpkin head.
Word.
Like, his whole face, his mouth, his eyes, everything was swole up.
That motherfucking mouth looked like 2 hot dog buns.
Like, for real. It was crazy.
And how you do that to a veteran, though?
Exactly.
A veteran.
Exactly.
It's not even, I mean, his origin of country is not even the United States.
I don't care where he's from. If you raised your right hand.
That's what I'm
Same
saying.
way they deport veterans.
Well, yeah, they deported a Marine's wife. She had been there, 20 years, right?
20 years.
And it was his wife. He's a combat vet. And they deported her, like this week?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy as hell. Well, this is one of those situations where these guys get held accountable. John Gallman and Spencer Sutton, they may be catching hate crime charges for this because of the nature of the beating. And so, you know, I applaud when it's... I shouldn't have to applaud you for doing the right thing.
Correct.
Right.
I shouldn't have to... Like, this is what should happen every time something like this happens. And it happens way more often than we even want to talk about.
Right, than we want to speak upon.
And so it's one of those things where people like, oh, well, when something like that happens, have you ever noticed that the same folks who are so vocal when a black person gets killed, they get real silent? But those folks are the same folks that I don't debate with and argue with, because they're the folks that call the police on you for no reason. Speaking of which, a student at Smith College, I don't want to butcher her name. I don't. She has a name that implies that she may be from another country. She had the police called on her simply for eating lunch at her school. She's sitting in one of the on-campus buildings eating lunch. And she looks up, and there's a police officer there. And he's like, hey, so what are you doing here? And she's like, I go here. I'm in one of the summer programs, all that. And he's like, oh, okay, and yada, yada, yada. And then he apologizes to her for somebody calling the police on her. Now, imagine you're a 19-year-old black woman who obviously is an immigrant. You know, you may be a little smaller in stature, and you're minding your business, and you live in an area where police brutality is fairly rampant, and you see this officer coming to you, and you're alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's crazy as hell. But see, the thing is, we automatically want to blame stuff like that on, like, conservative folks and these Republicans. But I'm going to take this political for just a second, going into the next story. These quote-unquote liberal folks are just as racist a lot of times.
All the time.
Let's talk about Arabella Torres, a.k.a. Doorway Debbie. So there was this woman who was in New York, in Brooklyn, you know, minding her business. She was ordering an Uber. She was getting an Uber because she wanted to go home.
She got caught in the rain.
She got caught in the rain. It started raining. And so she decided to stand in the doorway to get some relief from the rain. And Arabella Torres, who really would make a really good living as a Screech impersonator from Saved by the Bell, she would make a really good living at that. Either that or light-skinned Gonzo. One or the other.
Y'all so stupid.
It's got to happen. Like, I really want to see her as Gonzo one day. Decided that she was going to come out there and call the police and tell her to get off her property and threatened her with the police and all this stuff. And the woman is obviously like, I don't think she's black. But Arabella Torres said that she was black like it was a negative thing.
She's black.
She's black, and she's old or something like that. She's giving her all this negative stuff. And so then I'm sitting there watching this video. Was she on crack?
Meth. Had to be meth. Her movements, her body movements. Might have been crack. I'd say meth. I'd say meth before crack.
Because of her age, I'm going to say meth.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, if she had been slurring her words, something like that, I'd be like, she probably on Xans or something like that.
No, her jerky movements.
Twitching.
Yeah, her movements.
Her eyes, like, her pupils were dilated. Her eyes were really big. She was harassing the Uber driver. She was like, if you leave, it's a crime. I didn't commit a crime, so bye. You committed a crime by making a frivolous call to 911. It's your crazy self. But, yeah, so shout out to Doorway Debbie, Arabella Torres in New York. And the reason I say that she's liberal is because as soon as you look at her page, like you see she has those liberal leanings and all that. And she has her token black friends and stuff like that. And, yeah. I get tired of that, man. I get tired of it. I don't know, man. Natty doing a whole lot over here. You all right, man?
No, my niece over here. It's her birthday.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday to her. Tell her to come in. So we can tell her happy birthday. Hey. Oh, the door lock. Yeah, let her in so we can tell her happy birthday. Yeah. Because we're at the end of the show now, so we've gotten through most of our topics. We can afford to act up a little bit. So come get on the mic. We're going to do the whole thing. Yeah, you grab the headphones. Yeah, we're going to get on the mic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's who? That's who? Pink in the building.
So first of all, welcome to the KNWLDG podcast.
Hey.
Tell the folks your name.
Janaya.
And what's your nickname?
Foster.
What's your nickname?
Pink.
Pink. So why is your nickname Pink?
I don't know. That's just my favorite color, and people just been calling me that.
Okay. And how old are you turning?
14.
14.
August 6th. Tomorrow.
You seem kind of excited by that. So what's going on for birthday? Like,
well, I just been doing all my birthday stuff over the weekend, but tomorrow I'm just probably chilling and getting my presents.
You heard that part,
right? I remember getting presents.
Me too.
I miss presents.
Me too.
When last time you got a birthday present?
Okay, I'm lying. Last year.
Me?
I still get present at least one.
You probably get fancy presents too, knowing you.
Huh?
You heard me.
Huh?
You say, huh, you can hear.
Huh?
What you get last year for your birthday?
Huh?
Because you spoiled.
Huh?
When last time you got a birthday present, Natty?
Me personally? Shit. Every day my birthday, though.
That's not what he asked you. He said, when was the last time you got a present on your birthday?
I said every day is my birthday, so therefore...
I don't care what you said. That wasn't the question.
Whenever I'm blessed with
he don't
living,
remember.
With living.
He don't remember.
With living.
So you're not going to tell us what you got for your birthday?
Huh?
Huh?
Exactly. I just want to pour hot grits on you. I just pour some hot grits on you.
I Al Green the shit out you right now. Al Green the fuck out you right now.
And then what I'm going to do?
Just be Al Green.
No.
I really wish y'all would just go on and
I want to get this smoke out the way.
Y'all either have to hug or fight. One of them.
Both? On everything.
Can y'all just slap box right now? I do play by play.
I'm always ready.
Come on, Cletus. Ain't nobody. This is a kind of sleepy exclusive. This is a kind of sleepy exclusive. So Boss Lady got up. Boss Lady got up and came around. See,
Shorty didn't want to get up.
See,
I'm a gentleman.
You're a gentleman.
Yeah. I'm gonna get them.
We got one more. Okay, so
I'm picture the Ike Turner with cheese plate.
You saw what Tina did to Ike at the end, though, right?
In the
end.
Okay. But the whole movie is gonna be your ass.
So, all right. So you're turning 14, right?
Yes.
So this is about to make me feel really, really old. So from 1993 to 1998, one of my favorite shows of all time, Living Single.
Mm-hmm.
Maxine Shaw, Khadijah.
Big Liz.
See, you weren't even born when that show was on. You weren't even a thought.
But
Like you wasn't even a deep breath and a twinkle in your pop's eye.
But her aunt is a dancer.
So, well, okay. So come on. Yeah, we got to get you too. So she had to do the leg kick.
That's how you got to get up out that chair.
All right. So introduce the people to you. So introduce yourself to the people. Welcome to the KNWLDG podcast.
What's happening? This is Miss Wright.
Ms. Wright. Okay.
Miss
So
Wright.
you used to be a dancer.
I did.
Okay. So did you know the dance routine to the Living Single opening?
By Big Liz, of course.
Okay. So you know they're doing a reboot.
Oh my God.
They possibly doing a reboot. Erica Alexander posted on Instagram that they might be working on a reboot. And I would love to see Living Single because I think all of them still alive.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
they still have, I think I had to think about it for a second.
Bro, you done killed them
Wait a
all.
minute. Oh, wait a
You trying to
minute.
kill them all.
Kyle still
Kyle-
living. He was just on Star.
Okay.
He was on Star and he was on Greenleaf.
But he looking kind of sickly though.
I mean, it has been like 20 years.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Dang.
My bad.
It has
Sorry.
been like 20 years. He got a couple gray hairs. He's still the same size.
That's questionable.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm sorry. My bad.
He wasn't never no big dude to begin with.
No, but he was looking
And
extra small.
And nigga looking frail.
Right. That's where I'm at.
So, I know Overton's still living. What's his name? John Henson, right? Was that his name?
That
John
was
Henson?
Overton.
Yeah, I think that was his real name. I know both of the Kims still alive because one of them was just on Real Housewives like the other year.
Right.
Queen Latifah is obviously still alive.
Honey.
And Erica Alexander is too, because she just did, clearly we got it from her, and she was doing she did that
John.
Breakfast Club interview that was amazing.
I like the Queen Latifah. Bagging the bad bitches. She be bagging the bad bitches.
So
You seen the Instagram?
that's it for the show. Happy birthday once again.
Hey, that's pink.
Happy birthday.
Look.
Thank you guys for popping in.
No problem. Look, that is her all-time boyfriend, and she wanted to see him. So
I ain't boyfriend no more. You know what I mean?
No, let's
I'm
correct this. This is our ex-boyfriend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Our ex-boyfriend.
Damn,
Thank you.
I done got dumped on the show.
Apparently.
ladies and gentlemen. I've got jumped on the show.
no,
ladies
she
and
said you have to apologize to her so that you can be boyfriend again.
Oh.
That's what she told me.
No, that's my husband. I need to stop
gentlemen. Hey,
So
All
you
right, so
need
this
an
got real.
apology.
This got real quick.
You fuck with me, you stuck with me.
Come again, say
Forever.
what? Come again, say what?
Oh.
Hey, what? Hey,
Hey,
what?
now
Hey,
she
what
getting a
Cardi
little
B say?
spicy over there. Like,
Right, it's real saucy on this
you
Sunday.
went from pinky to spicy, and you holding the Popeyes cup too.
Right.
She about to hit you with a 2-piece, bro. Extra spicy.
Is it my shrimps?
You know what I'm saying? So before we get out of here, since it's your birthday coming tomorrow, you got anything you want to say to the people?
Hey, shout outs. Hey, don't get shy now.
Oh yeah, shout out to our best friend Shakaya
hey.
and my cousin Kennedy.
Go
Down
best friend.
outside.
That's my best friend.
I mean, look,
Okay,
I
I got you.
I mean, what's the Instagram names? I mean, gotta give all that shit up.
Oh, my best.
Wait, are they underage? Because I ain't following nobody under 18.
Oh well,
Yep, gotcha. Nope. Not yet. Because we don't know if R. Kelly listens to this or not.
Yeah, R. Kelly, don't listen to this podcast.
We don't know if R. Kelly listens to this or not. And I'd hate to have to beat his ass.
I ain't like.
So-
hey, tool on deck.
Just letting you know. Ms. Wright, you got anything you like to say?
No, just thank you so much for letting her come in to see all of y'all lovely face and do what she need to do.
Weekend.
You know where? Don't start none. Because you almost got into a fight, but you know.
you want
I
that
can-
2-piece with a biscuit?
But I can fight like hell though.
You finna get jumped by all the women in the room.
All the
too.
women in the room. Honey.
Yeah, look, we all gonna fight.
So Boss Lady, you got anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
You want smoke?
No
All
smoke,
of
no
it.
smoke.
Listen, bro.
All of it.
That face. That face.
She want all of it.
All the smoke. The fire, the smoldering ashes. I want all of it.
Ambers.
The ambers, all of it.
No.
Hey, but look.
Got me confused. You might want to check my
It's on
resume.
me, knowledge. I just want to say, man, you know, anytime we get together, you know, it's always, I mean, mind, body, and soul, and everybody say what they need to say, and everybody do what we need to do. And I know what I'm going to do when I get outside, because Miss who?
Huh?
Miss who? You.
Miss Boss Lady?
Yeah. Oh,
You don't even got to put the miss in front of it. Boss lady is fine.
keep the microphones on.
Get your camera. Get all of that.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Constant Podcast. You can catch us
What
on
you talking about?
Facebook, Instagram, the Constant Podcast. We're on Twitter now.
You better be
the
glad
Constant
there's some minor in here
Podcast.
right
We're
now.
on
I have something
Facebook.
to tell you.
You can download us on Man, we got all that shit. Y'all know.
Y'all know where we at, man.
And before we get out of here, man, all I want to tell you guys to do is be free.
Hey.
Be free. Mind, body, and soul.
Happy birthday, Pink.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Thank
Pink.
you.
Y'all have a good evening, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.